Hello, team. Welcome back to the ABCDs of Sports podcast. This is game 11, and I'm your team captain, Smeet Anand. Well, first off, happy to be back. Thank you for having me back, and thank you, as always, for spending great quality time with me. Now, I want to say happy holidays to all of you. I know we're right in the midst of everything. This is the week of December 16th. And Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Guru Gobind Singh Ji birthday. Happy holidays. Because this is a very festive time of year, very good family time, and it means a lot that you're actually taking some time out of all that to make me part of your day. I will also have to say Happy New Year to you. Reason being is this is going to be our last game of 2024. And we're going to take the 2 week break so I can spend quality time with my family as well. And I hope all of you get to do that and get a lot of love and joy. So we're going to end 2024 with game 11, but it doesn't mean it can't be great because I'm excited. I think it's going to be fantastic. And we're going to come back awesome in 2025. I like the thoughts and processes. I can't say anything to be honest. I know this will be a podcast. I'm supposed to be talking, but I'm kind of speechless. I cannot describe how I'm excited for it and where I'm hoping this will go or where it might go. So we'll come back in 2025, awesome, ready, and going full throttle. Now, quick fantasy football update. I just finished two playoff wins, so I'm super excited. I don't remember the last time that I actually had two teams in the playoffs and actually win and make the semifinals. My first one was a big one against my brother-in-law Mokum, my wife's brother. He uh, played him twice this year in this league, and he beat me really bad both times. He averaged 170 points. So for me to beat him was huge, and I got super lucky. Or two of his players last Thursday did not play up to snuff, and even then he scored 135 points. So it took every ounce of every little heroic effort of my players to make it. So lucky in that one. And then the second win was over Mr. Raj Bajaj. Um, he made me super, super nervous. And yes, this is the Raj Bajaj from Game 8. Super nervous because he had Justin Jefferson going, probably the best wide receiver in the game going. And early on, he caught a touchdown pass, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. He's going to put up 50 points on me, and it's going to be the end of it. But luckily, he only put up 20. Yes, only 20. And and my guys held on for that. All right, let's get on and let's do our game plan. All right, time for the game plan. So, as always, we start our game plan with the magic number. Our magic number this game is number 11. Referencing Mike Greenberg's book, Got Your Number, number 11 goes to Isaiah Thomas, the, the picturesque definition of babyface assassin, where the guy would smile at you with like a baby type face and beat you down both mentally and physically. He led the 1981 Indiana University college basketball team to an NCAA championship under legendary coach Bobby Knight. Legendary team and known in infancy. He got drafted by the Detroit Pistons and was a 12-time All-Star in 13 seasons for them. Led them to 9 straight playoff appearances and was a back-to-back NBA champion with that team. Now, people don't really remember that because you had Magic Johnson's Lakers at that time, Larry Bird's Celtics, and also, of course, Michael Jordan's Bulls. And a lot of people will say that he was probably the villain to Jordan's hero at that time, the big obstacle, the big guy that had to be overcome to get Michael Jordan to that supreme status. But for a whole city of Detroit, he was their hero, and he deserves a lot of recognition for that. All right, now our game of the week. We go to December 17th, NBA Cup Finals, Milwaukee Bucks versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The NBA Cup is the in-season tournament by the NBA that was created to help spur early season fandom and energy and excitement. And I have to say, in the 2 seasons that's been going on, it has been. And this is really cool that we have a big time matchup, two of the biggest teams out there, I would say. And I'm sure they're going to put on a great show. That will lead us to actually our players of the week. For the Milwaukee Bucks, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, or in other words, the Greek Freak. At one point, this guy was the best player in the league and had a legendary playoff run when he led the Milwaukee Bucks to a championship, including 50 points in a deciding championship game. That's unheard of. That's so crazy. And he's playing like a man possessed right now, a man on a mission. So he's gonna go up. Standing in their way, Oklahoma City Thunder and their best player, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder are a young team, but up and coming team. Last year, they were first in the West in terms of record, and they're looking very close to that this year as well. But they have not earned any like championship yet. And if they win this cup, it will kind of be like their first trophy that they won together as a collective group, and that can be big for them. So something to watch and see if this guy, their best player and MVP candidate, can take them that way. All right, guys, that is the game plan. Now it's time to meet our new teammate. Hey, team! Welcome back. And we are excited today to welcome our new teammate, Sahab Grover. Hey, Sahab.
Hey, how's it going, Smith? I'm
Good.
excited to be
Hey,
part of the team.
thank you for joining the team. I knew you were one of the dudes that I wanted on this thing too, man. Like it's just so much fun. Flair. It's interesting with you is that we don't talk every day, like because of the time zone and everything. But every time we talk, I just always come up like, man, that was an awesome combo. That was so fun, right? I'll never
Hey, it
forget.
takes two. It takes two, man.
Yeah,
It takes two.
oh, thanks. I'll never forget the one time that we were on our way, I think, to the airport, and you were in this mood for like, hey, we got tons of time, and my flight's delayed. Let's go for In-N-Out. And we just went in and out, and we sat there and we just got double, like burgers, and we just talking random stuff. It was so cool that way. It's one of my favorites that we've ever had for sure.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that vividly. It was like a chill conversation. I remember us talking about like life. I remember I was telling you a lot about like college life and all of that stuff and
Mm-hmm.
bung it out because we share that like dance background together too. And it was good.
Yeah.
It's like, like really honestly, like just getting burgers and fries and having a chill meal and just a car ride. You can have great conversations through that way. So it was a great
Oh,
time. I
it's
remember that.
beautiful. It was beautiful. And that's just like one of many. One of
Yeah,
many. Cool. So, Saab, just for our teammates out there, just gonna let them know, Saab is Umar's cousin, my wife. A really cool guy. Has been very welcoming since I've joined the family, and also is a businessman, an entrepreneur, and also an engineer. So he, along with his sports fandom, so he carries a lot of different hats, and very cool hats too. Uh, so Sab, what else do you want the world to know about you?
for sure. I'll go a little bit more past what my LinkedIn says, right? My LinkedIn's
Mm,
got a lot of that, so you guys can check that out. But going outside of that, so my main job, my main career path is consulting. So I've been
mm,
consulting for the past 3 4 years, and I do
mm,
primarily IT, technology consulting, strategy, project management, stuff like that. So that's my main career. I started before that. I went to the University of Michigan, got my undergraduate degree in industrial and operations engineering, and got my master's degree in industrial engineering. Then I went into the field of consulting. How I somehow ended up in technology, and then while I've been doing all of that stuff on the side, I'm very passionate about Bhangra, which is a North Indian cultural folk dance from the state of Punjab in India. originated there, has made its way to the diaspora in America. I am one of those people who participates in it. I love it. I'm very passionate about it. So outside of my work, outside of my family, outside of my friends, I run a dance academy called Fertile Dance, where we teach Bhangra to students of all ages. We have as young as 3 years old. We have as old as 60, 65, 70. We have competitive Bhangra teams that go to competitions. We hold showcases ourselves for the whole deal. And it's one of my biggest passions in life. So that's one other thing I know, Smith, you're saying wear many hats. I guess you could say wear many bugs. I guess you could also say that. But
Yep, yep, many
um,
bucks.
thank you
That's a
for
better way to
laughing at
put it.
that. Thank you for laughing at that joke. One time I made that joke at a career fair, and the reaction of the recruiter was like, "What are you saying?" That it was like his stone cold face. He just did not react to it. So thank you for entertaining me there.
Oh, dude, come
And
on, man. Like you and I both know that there's nothing better than bug power. So
yeah.
we got
Yeah,
that's
so yeah,
awesome.
so that's one of the other hats I wear, and then also on top of all that, love my family, love my
Hmm.
cousins. I'm the youngest of I think a set of like eight cousins, nine
Yeah,
cousins total, right? Nine.
yeah.
Yes, I got the number right. Nine total cousins. I am the youngest from there, and love my family, love spending time with my family. Yeah, and I got a dog named Cooper. Love that
Hmm.
guy. Love that little
Oh,
guy,
the dude's
little
a
dachshund.
cutie. He's super fun. He's super fun.
Yeah, very
To,
playful
to,
guy.
yep, yep. But my kids are still warming up with him, but he's awesome in his own way, and he's definitely got a lot of cool. So he fits his dad's personality for sure.
I know a lot of people say that. I don't. I guess I see it. I guess I see it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the owner will never know that, but it definitely it feels like it's like an extension. Oh, and guys, you got to check out Fertile, by the way. Fertile is super cool and in all the different choreography and dances. I mean, and like when he says like everybody gets down, like those 60-year-olds too, really, really take it to a new level. And you're like, oh, like it, that like there's nothing that the way how they teach it and the way how they show it, there's nothing that anybody at any age can't do. And it's so, and you can tell that they enjoy it and have fun with it. So, and that's the best part about any type of dance academy, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my favorite part about obviously is all the dancing, but
Mm-hmm.
coaching is my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
We don't really call our teachers teachers. We call our teachers coaches because everybody there is like they're there to coach you, not to just say, okay, do this, do that. It's more to like be part of that journey of learning the dance, no matter the age, no matter the skill set. So that's why I love it. It's very analogous to sports, like it's very close. Like the way sports teams work. I know, like Smith, you and I have talked about it, right? Because I know
Mm-hmm.
you coach like little league. I don't know what you guys call it there, little league
But
soccer,
little
junior
soccer,
soccer.
little rec
Yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah, rec
Yeah.
soccer. You coach all
Uh-huh.
that. It's very analogous there. Like there's a lot of similarities between those two of like coaching and I really that's the way we treat it. We don't just teach it like, oh, it's just a performing art. We're gonna teach you some steps. No, it's like we're coaching you. That's the whole vibe that we try to hold.
Yeah. You know what? Since we're down that path, let's go with it. Um, like in terms of what other similarities do you think is between something like Bhangra and dance and like sports in general? Like when it comes to like us, we're not athletes or we're not professionals, but like people who are going to join like in a Bhangra academy, or if they're joining a sports team or a sports club, and the preparation that goes into that, as well as like getting ready for a performance or a game like that. But let our teammates know what those similarities are.
I think that like what so I've been doing Bhangra since 2012. I've been part of a Bhangra team since
Hmm.
2012. And like before that, I had never really done too much organized activity. I was more of a I don't want to say the word loner is not the right word to describe it, but I was more of like a individualistic person. Like I didn't really want to be a part of a team. I kind of want to just do my own thing, right? And when I joined a Bhangra team in college when I went to the University of Michigan. Like it took me some time to realize what it meant to be part of a team, right?
Mm.
And what Bhangra and like this has shown me the similarities is like how much it actually goes into forming a team, and it made me a very great appreciation for sports teams more than what I thought. I think it's not just about the what you see happen in those 60 minutes, right? In like an NBA game. right? Or
Yeah.
it's not the same, or 48 minutes in an NBA game and 60 minutes in a football game. It's not the same. That's not all that there is. And this whole activity of like Bhangra and being part of that has shown me that, and gave me a greater appreciation for sports in general, right? It's just because there's so much more that goes into it, the chemistry of the team, the way, the
Yeah.
coaching styles. Like I
Yeah.
actually, like I have sitting here one of my books that I read to help me become a better dance coach. Actually, was a book by Pat Riley. I'm reading it right now. It's called The Winner Within, and where he
Oh
talks
yeah.
about his time on the Showtime Lakers. And he was
Hmm.
talking about dealing with Magic, Kareem, right? And now there's the whole HBO show. I think it's called Showtime, I believe. I
Yeah,
haven't had a
that's
chance to
right.
watch that, but I'm reading
Ditto, I'm
like
a little nervous too. I'm gonna check that out
I
because
want to see the Clippers one now. I know there's one on the Clippers. I haven't had a chance to watch that one yet. But
mm,
like I've read a lot about that. And when I moved, what really opened my eyes was I danced on the team and I was a captain of a team. And I was not the best leader when I first started leading, right? I didn't know
mhm.
how to handle tough situations, tough decisions, how to work with people, all that. I can remember situations when I first started leading, like I did not handle that properly. I did not communicate properly, right? I didn't coach that person properly. But
Uh-huh.
then when I started leaning into the sports side of things, one of my friends, he was like, he helped me make that connection. And as we would discuss our situations that we would have on our teams, he like started leaning in on more of the sports. We talked about different coaches, the coaching styles, what they do. And like when I moved, I had an injury happen to myself. I think like it was like 2017. I was dancing and I ruptured my Achilles tendon. So I went
Mhm.
from a captain dancer role to a coach role because I couldn't dance. And so
Yeah.
when I hit that I couldn't dance mode, I started heavily more leaning into figuring out these different coaching styles from people like Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, right? Bo Schembechler, Jim Harbaugh. Like I started looking at these different coaching styles and applying some of those things into Bangladesh. So there's from that perspective, it's really connected. And obviously, team activities, team sports. There's so much that goes into it, and team chemistry and training and coaching and all of that. It giving me a great appreciation for all of that.
Yeah, man, you're so right, right? Like the hard work, the hours, the dedication, the communication, that it's just so much goes into that. And when you can tell when a team has worked together, both on the Bhangra, in a Bhangra performance, and also like on the field or court, where when they're in sync and like the flow, and they look like this, it's really is like a true art on both ends.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's so incredible, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful to see that way.
When you
And
use that, you
that
saying
all
that
those
on, yeah, sorry, keep going, Smith. Okay.
okay. Oh, and just that the what do you call it? All those people are like combined and they're focused and they're working together for that one goal, whether they're performing a beautiful dance performance or trying to score a goal or score a touchdown. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It showed me like one of the things like I really learned was like you can't and this was during the era of like the
Yeah.
big three in the NBA, right? Like you would go and
Yeah.
like sign like two big players, right? You just put them
Yeah.
together and then you'd be like,
Mm.
okay, they'll just make magic on the court. And then obviously that didn't happen. We had examples like the 2012 Lakers, Steve
Yeah.
Nash, Dwight Howard, Kobe Bryant. That like, they thought big three, right? You had I
Don't
think they
forget Dwight Howard. They had four.
yeah, it was Steve Nash, Paul Gasol, Kobe, and Dwight Howard, right? They had
Yeah,
four, right?
yeah,
Four. You
yeah,
also had the Lakers in 2004, right? The one that the
yeah,
Pistons beat,
yeah,
right? That was Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Kobe, and Shaq, right?
yep.
And what this showed me is that it's not like you can't just buy players,
Mm-mm.
right? Or
No,
sign these players and say like
no,
it's going to work. And
yeah,
it actually gave me a greater appreciation for like those Heat, like the big three Heat, because it
yeah,
wasn't just, oh, we got talented people. It was great coaching by Eric Spoelstra, great management
yeah,
by Pat Riley, right?
yeah,
And that actually is why I read the Pat Riley book, right?
yeah,
And it was like great leadership by Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh, right?
yeah,
It's not just about, right, okay, get these
yeah,
people together that are talented, right? Or get these people together who have given this God given talent. There's so much
yeah.
more to it.
Yeah, right. And if we're going to reference that, right? Dwayne Wade saying, okay, him used to being the face of the franchise of the Heat, saying, nope, I recognize that LeBron's probably the more talented, better player. We'll let him take the lead. And Chris Bosh, even more so, having two alphas in front of him, and like and change his role completely, like where he was the main person, touching that ball, then even having to open up and become like that third option as well as a long range third option, like the first kind of big guy who started chucking up those threes
Mhm.
for that. So it takes a lot of different pieces that way. And we've seen it totally bomb out too, right? With the all the teams that you mentioned, but don't forget like the Brooklyn Nets with
Oh
Kyrie
yeah.
Irving, you know,
That one I think is like the worst one. The was it like the
it's
20 it's like the 2019-2020 Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden experiment,
yeah,
right?
100%.
That one was
100%. Till
terrible.
today, I can't think of a bigger bust when it
They
comes to like
played
let's put
12 games
superstars together.
together, I think. I think it was 12 games that they played. Like, how can you sign that little talent and play that little amount of time together?
Bro,
I
it's
it,
that
it
way,
just
and just everybody, and like at every turn of that event, like one of them was upset, right? And was complaining and just was not happy, and just like it just never seemed to. It didn't even get close to jumping off, which is it's like incredible
yeah.
that way.
And you love Kyrie Irving, right? So like, I mean, you were really sad to see that not work out, right?
Oh no, I've never been a Kyrie Irving fan,
I
dude.
know that's what I was saying.
I know, you know how to poke the bear on that one. He's probably my least favorite NBA player. The guy is the biggest diva out there, in my opinion. I mean,
Do you think this Mavs experiment is gonna work with
it's it's
Kyrie
working.
Clay and
So
Luca?
so I go with him this that when he decides that when he understands that he's the Robin to the Batman, right? And he doesn't cause off the court issues and just plays his game. He's amazing. He's practically a 1A. I can give him that. But he has to be that 1A. But when he does this off the court stuff and then he puts stuff like that one time, like, okay, I'm not gonna get my COVID shot, but I'm gonna show up in the arena when there's a state law, right? And also arena policy, and I'm not gonna wear a mask in that way. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, fine, that's your choice not to wear a vaccine, but you're showing total disregard for like all the fans that are there and total disregard for like law and officials and your real nation leaders out there. And if you're not like you do that, then like you're just an anarchist.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's not just that.
and
It makes it
yeah,
about you.
yes,
It's
yes,
about you. It's about me,
yes,
not we. That's
yes,
I think that after I think the this is my theory. I have a wild
yeah,
theory. I think that
yeah,
that 20, I mean, it's not wild, not that wild. In 2016, when the Cavs came back 3-1, right?
yeah,
Kyrie was the guy who made that shot that won him the game.
100%. He was
He
amazing.
was.
He was
He was the
great in
guy.
that series.
That
He was
series,
amazing.
him and LeBron were on one. They were next level. And they
Yeah,
won that together. But
yeah,
LeBron was still the alpha in that situation because it's LeBron's team.
yeah.
And I think that got to his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because he was kind of this, I mean, coming out of like Duke, right? He was a little bit like that, but not that much, right? He came to Cleveland, he played
Mm-hmm.
basketball, he didn't make it by himself. And then
Yeah,
after 2016, I think something shifted. And I think that got to him.
yeah,
I think him being like everyone's talking about LeBron, but I'm the guy that made that shot. I'm the guy that
yeah.
balled out in this series as well. I'm not getting that credit. I think that's where it happened for
I
him. And he
yeah.
totally regrets leaving Cleveland the way
Oh
he left
yes.
it.
Yes, because they could have gone on and won a lot more championships too, probably two or three. And LeBron would have never come west to Lakers, although us Laker fans are super happy that he did and got that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, LeBron might have never gone off and moved out that way, if he had stayed that way. But I agree with it. And and I understand too that look, athletes have pride. I'm going to say pride. We'll use that one instead of the E word in terms of egos. Um, but they have pride and they want, they're competitive and they want that. And went up until I'd say he got till LeBron came in, he was used to being the alpha, the alpha in Duke, alpha in high school. Um, and so I understand. And people remember that series, like if you're going to define plays, they more of like LeBron's block on, Iguodala versus his shot. Right. I mean, that's one of the things that overshadows that, and he had, if I recall, he had more points in that game than LeBron, and several times that way. So yes, I think you're right. But that's carried over. And I don't think it hit him until he got to Dallas. Right. and Luka Doncic, and somehow, some way
Mhm.
they talked it out. And I mean, they've been really good together. They've really
Yeah,
complemented
they
each other
have
that
been.
way,
They have
and
been.
that way.
Yeah.
And you haven't hearing, any nonsense for a couple of years from
Hmm.
him. So, that way. So we've talked about basketball. Is it safe to say that basketball is your favorite sport?
No.
No. What is your favorite sport?
So growing up, basketball was my favorite sport. I
Uh-huh.
absolutely loved it. If you want to talk about basketball history, I can go on and on for it.
Hmm.
There's so many reasons why. One of the reasons is my sister, her Jewett. She really influenced me. She played basketball in high school. She was on the podcast a few episodes ago, and she talked about her basketball experience in high school. And she taught me the game. Like I would play basketball with her. The
Hmm.
Pistons were really good when I was growing up, right? Up before
Yeah.
2008. Like that also was a big reason. And the lines were terrible that
Hmm.
whole entire time. But honestly, as I've grown up, I've come to love football a lot more, lot more. And I
Oh.
think what it is the strategy of the game. It's the
Oh.
overall like it takes like this whole army. It's like an army versus an army, and you have all this coordination, mind games going on, and every play matters, every game matters, every the intelligence request they require. All athletes, yes, they're very athletic, but all athletes are very intelligent because it takes that level of intelligence. Like, and I'm not just talking about football, all sports, but football player intelligence to the next level, right? The
Hmm.
memorization that they need to do, the critical thinking in these high stress environments, that the stakes of football is and all of that strategy piece is what makes me love it so much. And it's not
Yeah.
just because the lines are good now, okay? And because
I'm
Michigan football
sure that helps.
and Michigan football is really good either.
Yes,
Well, not
I'm
this year, but
sure that
last year.
helps.
But that stuff definitely helps. But it's been football for the past probably like 3 years. I've really started to gain appreciation for
I
the game of
can
football. It's
I
probably my
can see
favorite
that.
sport.
I mean, and that's ironic, right? That's why like the name of this game slash episode is called "It takes 11 players on the field to score a touchdown." Because
Mm-hmm.
it takes all 11 people to do their part for that to happen. I mean, sure, our star, players like the quarterback, the wide receiver, running back will get the credit for it, but it takes all 11. If one guy on the line doesn't do his job and lets a person go, then they what do you call it? The whole play is busted up.
Yeah.
And so
Like,
they're sorry, and the amount of plays, right, that they memorize. That first off, they have to like this whole encyclopedia of plays. Second, then all like the different code language that they have to tell the whole team what play they're actually going to run. Because right, everybody remembers like Peyton Manning with his like Omaha, but he has like 10 other phrases that he says in that same thing before he gets to like Omaha. But there's like one word in there that they practice and rehearse that everybody's looking for, and like what sequence, what time, and then that's the trigger for what play they're actually going to do at that
yeah.
moment. Yeah. And then if they check it or change it too.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then on top of all that, it still allows for that opportunities to show that insane athleticism too.
Yep.
That's a great
Yep.
part of it.
It takes that.
You still see the insane athleticism, right? How these
Hmm.
players can be X factors, right? Like Jameson Williams and his amazing speed, right?
Yeah.
like there's like these things, like these X factors, like of it that add a whole nother layer to the game. Um, so exactly, yeah, that's exactly the reason why you laid it out right there is the reason why like I just love football.
It's fun. And and like you said, every play matters. I mean, one play that way, there's so much intensity, so much like passion with that, and you can see it. And because also like compared to all the other sports, like there's a lot less games, right? There's so much more meaning for those games.
That's another reason.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I went from 16 to 17 games, right?
Yeah.
But still, every single one of those games matter. The playoffs are you win, you're in, you
Hmm.
win, you're in, you lose, you're out. Like it's
Yeah.
very just definitive. Um, yeah, all those reasons
Mhm.
I love football.
Do you have a favorite team or athlete?
Okay. Uh, I would say team. I have a favorite team. That's the Michigan Wolverines football team. Okay. University of Michigan's football team.
All right.
Um, and there's a reason why I say that. So, like, I've been a Michigan Wolverines fan since my older sister Inderbreed went to University of Michigan. So that's
Uh-huh.
what 2001.
Yeah.
And I just love Michigan Wolverines football. I watched the games. I went to the University of Michigan, but that's the only team that I can go and say I'm a Michigan Wolverine because I went there.
Hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Like you,
Yes.
I can't be like I'm a Piston. I'm a Laker. Like, you can't say that
Oh,
stuff. Right? Like
no.
it doesn't like you can't say that. You can't really say like I have like this like attachment because I went there. I had built all those memories at the school, and because
Hmm.
of that, like that football team will always be my. It feels like my team, right? No
Yeah.
matter where I go, that's my team. So I'd say that's my favorite team. And did you say also your favorite athlete as well?
Yeah.
I used to be I say used to. I still am a huge LeBron James fan. Like I say used to. I still think he's got a lot left in his tank, but I'm like
Yeah.
also at the same time I'm like I think he needs to move on from what he's doing. He's kind of doing the same things over and over again, right? And
Yeah.
it's not working.
Yeah.
Currently, especially at the time of this episode, the Lakers are still trying to figure out their starting lineup, which sounds like the same headline that I've heard 2, 3 years in a row now at the
Yep.
same time of
Yep.
the year. And I
Yep.
think it's a perpetual cycle that's going to continue to happen with LeBron for and the Lakers. So I ignore all of that and I look back going like 2001, 2020, 2021, 2022 and earlier. And that time
Mm.
frame, LeBron James by far. Like
Yeah.
that guy is something else. 2018 LeBron, that was like a whole nother animal. And the eras and his whole story is one of the greatest stories in sports. I don't know
Oh
if I'm
yeah.
saying the exact same things that her George said on this podcast, but she might have said these exact same things. But LeBron James is by far my favorite athlete.
Yeah. No, she didn't say much on that stuff, but I agree. I mean, I agree with his story. I mean, he had the pressure like since like freshman year of high school. Yeah, right. And
Exactly.
being anointed there, freshman, I mean, that's like age 14, 15. From that until now, when he's 40 years old, that's more than half his life. That's 26 years of being always in the spotlight, always being expected to perform, always expected to achieve and accomplish and win. That's hard, you know. That's and he's done it very, very well.
And he didn't have that dual parental support.
No.
He was raised by a single mother.
Yep.
On top of all that,
Yeah.
um, so that story and like him just coming in, you see so many athletes who get that label on there, and what ends up happening to them, they fizzle out. They can't handle it.
Yeah.
They
No.
can't do it. Prime
Not even
example
close.
is right in front of our eyes is Zion Williamson, right?
Yeah.
He was labeled. Wasn't he labeled like to be the next LeBron James? He was
Yeah.
labeled that, right?
Yeah.
And then look
Yeah.
what's happened. He couldn't stay healthy. Um, and some things are just due to misfortune, right? But
Hmm.
some of it's also mental, and the pressure
Yeah.
gets to you, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you feel comfortable that okay, I've got this label. Why do I need to keep working for it, right? And so to LeBron to never stop trying to fight for that, even though he's gotten that label, which he could have easily stayed in Cleveland, got paid millions and millions and millions of dollars, but he's like, nah, that's not what I'm here. I'm here to win.
Yeah.
If this is what it
Yeah.
takes, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I agree with that. That's it's incredible that way. And he came out west to and establish something different. And I'm sure there's other stuff behind it, but he's always been about winning too. And he's always
Yeah.
plays that way. And he's fun to watch that way. Uh excellent choice. So is his 23 your favorite jersey number?
No, and it's
No.
so, and it's no, it's not. But I don't associate like 23 with LeBron too much. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, but that's Jordan's number, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
That's Jordan's number. You can't take that away from him. He's the original
So
23.
so what's your favorite number?
Mine is 11, and it is so funny
Oh.
that you said this is episode 11. I am telling you, I did not plan that out. I can promise you, I did not plan that out. It actually is the number 11.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so awesome. So why number 11?
um, I was given it in a rec basketball league, and I just really liked the number.
Ah, that's cool.
Why? Or another one, a more prideful way. Why be number one once when you can be it twice?
Oh, that's
It,
pretty. That's something new, different. Yeah. Okay. Why can't that? I never heard that one before, but that's awesome. So cool.
yeah.
And see, right? I mean, that makes sense because you got a special connection with your sports, um, with your sports history. So is Harjot your first exposure to sports?
Yeah, actually, she was.
Yeah.
Like it was a great way for us to bond together. Um, and it's like it was a big reason I got into sports in the first place. I really got into basketball. At
Uh-huh.
that time it was about Allen Iverson, right? He was a
Uh-huh.
cool guy, and I
Yeah.
remember me and Mokum, right? Your brother-in-law, right?
Yep.
We would My cousin. We would I remember us getting like Allen Iverson shoes. We had the Allen
Hmm.
Iverson jersey. Like we had the whole thing going with that time. Like this is like early 2000s. He was the man at that time. But yeah, it was a really good way to bond with my sister. But then on top of that, one other way that like sports was like really important to me, like when we would go, it was really funny, like when we go to Gurdwara when we were
Oh.
younger, we had this huge, and this was like in our Gurdwara, right? It's early 2000s. We had this huge large patch of land, pretty much the size of a football field, right? It was flat land. So
Yeah.
every time we would always just look forward to it. I personally would look forward to just playing football like out
Yeah.
there too, and then there was a basketball hoop there, there's like those little things, right? um Growing up. So yeah, that was she was my first exposure. Her was definitely my
Okay.
first exposure to sports and basketball. But it just kind of kickstarted just my love for it as well.
That's so cool. Well, I mean, and that's interesting. One, you're the first person that I've had on that's talked about how you've used sports to relate and connect with a sibling. A lot of people have said parent, but you're the first one to say a sibling, which is awesome.
I
And,
mean, so Jot and I, we still talk about basketball all the time, like every single time. And, like it's a very frequent conversation. More
hmm.
of the time now, it's more me like trolling her. So most of our conversations are like, "Oh yeah, LeBron sucks, dude," and then she just goes off for like I just do it to like have her go off for about like 50, 20, and she knows that I'm doing it just to annoy her. Um, but we still talk about it. She's such a huge basketball fan. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I'm telling you, man, like the amount she knows and watches basketball and like the Pistons and all that, I can't keep up with it.
Oh man,
Um,
it was amazing. I got a taste of it when I was talking with her that
yeah,
one time.
yeah,
Going back, teammates, by the way, that's game seven. If you really want to hear it again, but she is a next level when it comes to basketball, and it's so amazing to watch and check out. So, uh, yeah, just if you ever get to know her and meet her, just start with that stuff, and it just rolls. It's so
yeah.
fun, so fun that way. And then you were saying then, right, that the just going out and playing football with all the other like kids at Goodwater and how you guys then connected that way is a pretty cool thing too.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like a fun time. Obviously, we got in a lot of trouble because we'd be playing like, there'd be like Gurdwara going on. There'd be like the service in Gurdwara, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
like in a church you have a service, right? Where you have a
Yeah.
priest, giving a sermon or something like that. It's very
Hmm.
similar in Gurdwara, it's just a little bit different for
Yeah.
those who are non-sick. Like the way they do the service is different, but you would be out there playing football. And then, but while that's all going on, then you have the parents come out and then all be like, "What the heck are you doing? Get your butts inside right now!" Like, so that was usually what happened. But it was a great way for it was just fun. It was a great way for us to connect, outside of just we kind
Yeah.
of look like each other. Oh, we also
Yeah.
like sports, right? There's
Yeah.
another way to connect with other people.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so smart. I mean, and what kid has not done something like that like during a lot of time or church time or something like that?
Like he's running
It's so
running
fun.
around outside.
Yep. Right, we're all kids. We have all this pent up energy, especially on a Sunday. You're like you're thinking, oh, it's so fun. Like I'm done with school. It's supposed to be playtime. So
Yeah.
how can you expect me to sit down and be quiet? But that's hilarious. That is so hilarious. How did sports help navigate between American and Indian culture for you?
Um, I mean that what I mentioned about Godot was a
Yeah.
really fun
Yeah.
thing. Like
Okay.
it was a good way to navigate between the two. And
Okay.
one other thing, like there was also like one thing that we used to do with there would be like basketball tournaments and stuff like
Yeah.
that we'd hold
Uh-huh.
with each other, right? That was another great way that it really helped me navigate both of those between like American and Indian culture,
Uh-huh.
right? I also like did play a little bit of football, right?
Yeah.
And when I was in middle school, and it was like
Uh-huh.
good to be able to do both, or be able to play some sports as well.
Mhm.
When I was doing that. So
And what about at like your time at University of Michigan being a Wolverine
I
and the
mean that
Wolverines were there?
was yeah. So the times I went, it was like 2012 to 2016.
Yeah.
And Michigan football was probably at not its worst. Yeah, it's pretty much at its worst. Like we did not beat Ohio State. I
No.
think we did not beat Ohio State
Yeah.
once those 4 years.
Oh,
That
that's
was
gotta be hard.
a year that the block punt happened from Michigan State, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally remember the city going dead quiet. It was like everyone was cheering, right,
Uh-huh.
and then it just went dead quiet. It was like dead
Oh
silence.
man.
Um,
Yeah.
when I was there, it was like I don't know if it was navigating between the two, but like I just do remember like it was good like being able to share. And while I was there, I had bunker stuff going on too, and then I
Yeah.
had like all Michigan sports. We had a great basketball team all those years. Those were
Hmm.
a great basketball team. I remember my freshman year we went to national championship, and then we lost to Louisville that
Yeah.
year. I remember
Yeah.
watching that with my bunker team. Right, like that was like
Uh,
our fun
oh,
like bonding activity that we did together. So that was awesome.
that's so cool. That's so cool. I mean, like have that. And now, is that would you consider that like your favorite watch sports moment?
Favorite watch sports moment? There's only one correct answer from
Uh,
any basketball fan, and that's 2017 Game 7 NBA Finals. I don't want to hear
Ah.
anywhere else, anything else. That was the like epitome of playoff basketball. Like playoff basketball was all
Mhm.
encapsulated in that game.
Yeah.
Um, you like know what I mean by that? Like you could see the nerves on the players, right? Like you could
Hmm.
tell like these guys are nervous. Like
Yeah.
they are like shaking. Like they're like, okay, we gotta like Steph Curry shaking. Like these are like the best athletes in the world and they can't keep it together. And that's why
Yeah.
that game was what 92-89.
Yes. Yeah. For
Like
casual fans, that it's been the game that we've been talking about, that where the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love took on the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson there, where at that time, the Golden State Warriors were the best team in the league, had won 73 games, so it set the regular season record. LeBron James was really, really trying hard to get that first ever championship for Cleveland. And so, I mean, we've been talking about this game, and it's iconic. It's okay, and I agree. I mean, every time we talk about this in any of our group chats, I think you always bring this one up too, like this way. Like, there's nothing like it. It's de definitely set, it cemented LeBron's status as one of the GOATs, greatest of all times. Uh, the 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 love that Cleveland will always have, like that, always that lovable loser that had never had been able to win that championship, and at that time it had had the most professional seasons lost without a championship. Like the city of Cleveland had had the most seasons played by any type of professional team without scoring, without winning a championship until that moment, until that game seven. Uh,
not and they came back from down 3-1,
yes,
right?
3-1 in the
This
series.
this was it was like you know like the way I looked at it was like it humanized these like superhumans.
Mm.
Like that's what
Oh,
it
oh,
felt like. It
and
humanized them. Like, yeah.
and add to that, right? Like I don't think a team had ever come back from 3-1
Nope.
at that
Never.
moment. No, that was the
Never.
first time ever in NBA history that a team down 3-1 in a best of seven series came back and won the championship.
Yeah.
So,
And that game, it wasn't really like a crazy moment where I was with a bunch of people and I was watching it. I was just like in my apartment watching
mhm.
the game in college.
Yeah.
Um, it was summertime, right? There was nothing really going on. I was still in Ann Arbor, and I just remember I visually remember like this the scene. I was sitting there by myself in my apartment just watching the game, and I was the entire time from the minute it started, pretty much like sitting at the edge of my seat, like the entire game. And you go to YouTube and you go watch that clip, right? There's like a clip of the last like 3 minutes of the game. It ends up being like a 15-minute clip. But and you know how YouTube, so you go on YouTube, right? And if you go and you scroll in the video, you can see like the peaks of when most viewership happens. And
Yeah.
obviously the most viewership is at the LeBron chase down block that
Yeah.
happens. Right. Right. Like that whole thing, that whole reaction, like the way they reacted after the win, like you don't really see that in sport. Like you see people celebrate, like, yeah, they're cheering, right? But like the way he broke down on the floor, like the fact it was in Golden State, there were so many components of it, of that, not just the game itself, the everything that happened afterwards, right? It was the climax of an amazing story of his career also.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's so funny, we forgot to mention how Kyrie Irving hit that shot, and that's why he's that's why
We
he's
did
got
it
chip on his
again.
shoulder. We
We
did it
did it again.
again. That's why he's got chip on his shoulder the entire time. But yeah, that's that game overall. It was my it is the most, I will forever say that is my most favorite watch sports memory I
It's
have.
a great one. It's an absolute great one. Excellent, great choice. Was there an athlete you would trade roles with?
If there was one, I think I have a recent one that I would do. Actually, being it's not because he just won the Heisman, would be Travis Hunter. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that guy, like I, we talked a lot about coaching.
Yes.
I want to know what it'd be actually like to be coached by Deion Sanders, right?
Yep.
As like, a college athlete, right?
Hmm.
At the top of my game, playing the position that my coach was the one of the best at, right? Like being able to play, well, maybe not, being a corner, right? And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
but my coach was like a dual sport athlete. They showed that they could do it, right?
Hmm.
Um, Being able to be coached by someone like that, that would be like, that's why I would trade roles with that person, with Travis
It's
Hunter.
pretty cool.
I want to be able to feel that experience, what it's like.
We like to be coached by a guy. And Deion Sanders, right? If we recall, he played both ways as well, and a dual sport athlete too.
Dual
So
sport and a dual sport
Yeah,
athlete. Yeah.
yeah. Deion Sanders played baseball and football. Are probably our last dual sport athlete that we've seen professionally ever, if I
Yep.
recall. Right? Let's give him that. Two, all star in both leagues as a baseball and football player. And when he was playing football in his prime, he was playing both wide receiver and cornerback
Yeah.
that way, right? So I mean, and I don't know what's going to happen with Travis. I'm sure he's going to make a decision one way or the other what position he's going to play next year
Mm-hmm.
because nobody plays dual anymore for sure. But I mean, if he ends up doing that, that's next level. That's incredible, especially the way
In
how
the
the game is
NFL,
now.
like I don't know how he's going to do. I don't think he's going to end up playing
I
dual. I
don't
don't
I
know
don't think so.
which way
Yeah.
do you think he's going to lead?
Well, I mean, he's projected to go, if I recall, he's going to go like 3 or 4, and probably to like the Patriots. He'd probably make his money as a wide receiver. That I think
Yeah.
wide receivers make a little bit more money than
Yeah.
cornerbacks right
I
now.
think it's going to be a little bit of financial decision. He's going to say like,
It will always go that way. And the only thing that might work though is that an elite shutdown quarterback cornerback is more rare. And so then those top guys make a lot more money that way because they're needed, and
because there's
then he
less
won't
of
have to
them,
take
right?
as many hits.
Because there's less of them, right? Like
Yeah,
less
there's
of those
less.
elite shutdown corners and really
Yeah.
really good wide receivers, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Right. And so he'll get more of a spotlight that way, and he can quote unquote build his brand that way too. Um, and he won't take as many hits.
yeah, true.
Right. Although he'll be the one giving the hits, but he's that way. That way. So I think he's gonna. I think he'll roll wide receiver though, just for the glam of it.
Mhm.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure. I mean, his story is gonna be incredible to watch. If you're a commissioner for a day and could change one thing about any league or sport, what would it be?
So I'll go to the NBA. I
Uh-huh.
would add the 4 pointer.
A 4 pointer? Oh,
Add the four
wow.
pointer.
Where
I'll
is that?
tell.
Where is that in reference to the 3 pointer and everything else?
I think it should be a special spot on the court,
Uh-huh.
right? Like kind of like how they do in like celebrity or all star
Yeah.
games or
Yeah.
whatever. They should add that in for sure.
Uh-huh.
Test it out in the G League or
Yeah.
the NBA Development League, whatever they're calling it these days, and implement that because the range that players have, like the 3 pointer, they're just gonna cut it anymore. They did in the
Yeah.
70s. Add the 3 pointer line. Let's add the 4 point line. Let's do it.
But why
Um,
only 4 points then? Why not a little bit more like a 5 or a 7 or
I mean, that's why we test it out, right? In the G League. So figure it out, right? Or make it like specialized for like a certain moment, final 2 minutes of the quarter, something like I think it's
yeah,
something that eventually will get added with the amount of range that every player they're gonna add it in when they need to increase the viewership of the sport, right? If they
yeah.
ever see a downturn, they're gonna add something to add like that extra thing to it, right?
Yeah.
But I think that that's going to eventually make it. If I was a commissioner, I would be trying to figure out how to add that in because it's going to just with the limitless
I
range that
mean,
players
I
have.
mean, you got scoring now already in like the 110s, 120s every night. Also, like now you're looking at like 150s every night. Like everything's gonna be an NBA All-Star game and no defense. And how are you gonna defend that?
It's not like they play defense. It's not that they already play defense right now. Do they play? Do they play defense in the NBA? No, they don't.
No,
Like so,
really.
it's like why not, right? Or make it like past the half court lines. Make it something crazy that
Yeah,
players can still hit. But everyone said like I think in the 70s they're like why they adding the 3 point line. I
Yeah.
think there was pushback to the 3 point. Like, why is it being added? It's ruining our game. It's ruining the fundamental of the sport. And then they added it, and now it's the most taken shot, right?
Yeah. No, I mean now
That
everything's
and
a three
layups.
point shot.
Yep.
Everything's a 3 point shot because it's become how these guys play, and it's a totally different game. I mean, it will be fun. I like your idea though. I think it's a fun idea. We have this special hot spot where you people can just throw it up and just watch. I mean, and then if we had like Dame Lillard and Steph Curry at their heyday, like, just going to that spot and just chucking it up there, it would be hilarious and fun that way.
Yeah.
That was a cool, fun one.
Okay.
So what sporting event are you looking forward to?
Only one game that I care about, and that's the game. The Michigan versus Ohio State game every year. That's the one I look
Uh,
forward to most.
oh,
Every like it's that game has so much weight to it, right?
yeah.
Every year.
Mhm.
Uh and Michigan's obviously won it 4 years in a row, obviously, because Ryan Day keeps not
Yeah.
I was not going to say the
No,
rest of
it's
that, but I mean every so like the Michigan versus Ohio State game, it's the one game of the year I really, really care. I tell everybody this. It's like one game of the year that I really, really care about. Like
mhm.
I have I have like emotions about. I get angry if we're not playing well. Obviously I get angry
Yeah.
during a Lions game or something, but this one it's like I feel like I have a skin in the game with it,
Yeah.
right? Because there's just
The-
so much history between the states
Yep.
themselves, so much
Yep.
behind the game. The
Yep.
fact that when I was at the University of Michigan, we never won the game, right?
Oh yeah.
All of those components of it just make it so important to me. And obviously, like this year, Michigan didn't win or didn't have a great season,
No.
right? But we won the game, and that's what
Yeah.
mattered the most, right?
Yeah.
So we could literally go what like 1-10, but if that
Yeah.
one win is against Ohio State, then it's a great season. Like it's
I
that
mean,
that's how important it is.
it's incredible, and it made such huge implications this year, right?
Oh
It
yeah.
stopped Ohio State from being playing in the Big Ten championship, and cost them a big seed in the college football playoff. And instead of possibly getting a bye, now they have to play, in that first round. And,
So it's
and
Tennessee,
so there's
Ohio State, right?
yeah,
Tennessee,
yeah,
Ohio State, and whoever wins that goes up against Oregon, I think, right?
yes, right.
Oregon
I
got
mean,
screwed. Them
I
them
know
losing
the
the
bracket.
or winning the Big Ten championship screwed them over.
Yeah, but just because they got a tougher bracket. But I mean, they have to
Exactly.
play who they have to play
That
in that way.
they should have just lost to Penn State. So like, that way they get
But then they had to play that extra game down there, and they would be like the
yeah.
fifth seed. That would be hard. That'd be
Yeah,
hard.
that's true. I didn't look at the other side. I didn't look at the flip coin. I just was like, okay, that's terrible. Okay, Tennessee or Ohio State, like, come on, dude, you're screwing them over here. But yeah. I mean, it's big for them. The first time in the Big Ten, they won the Big Ten championship literally in the
Isn't
first
that
year.
amazing? That's so amazing. And they went undefeated, and the only undefeated team out there,
and and
in college football.
undefeated in a Big Four conference. Like that's huge. Like
That's
to win it. Like okay, you got like those like teams in like I don't know whatever those other like conferences
oh yeah,
are
the
in
power,
Mountain
like
West.
a
Yeah,
Mountain West
yeah,
conference.
Mountain West or anything like that, or
The-
ACC. All that
yeah.
stuff. It's like okay, you go 12-0, whatever. Okay, it's like cool. But dude, they went up again. They played Ohio State. They played who else they
Penn
played? They
State.
played like Penn State, right?
They
Like
played Penn State.
they played these
They,
big
they,
teams.
if I recall, they beat Texas,
They beat
right?
Texas.
They
Yeah.
beat Texas. They had a big win on Texas. So they're legit. I mean, there was no argument when that came out that who was going to be number one. That's for sure. There was tons of
Yeah.
argument all over the place for everything else, but there was unanimous. So
Mhm.
they're going to be. But now the pressure's on too. They're going to have to deal with that, being that number one seed first ever in a college playoff, with a 12-team bracket. It's going to take it all the way.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Saab, we've come to the portion that's I like to call crunch time.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about crunch time, but now it's your time to be in crunch time, where we're going to do a rapid fire of questions, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. All right?
Let's do it.
All righty. Do you like coffee or chai?
Coffee.
Oh, another guy. We've not had one chai yet. I think we're gonna have to get all our parents on here and even that out a little bit.
Yeah, coffee's is
Uh,
the way to go, man. Coffee.
yes.
I do Commetier coffee. We talked about this literally when I was just
Yeah.
at your house. Commetier coffee, like the frozen pucks. I told Umar about it too. It's great. You should try it again.
Mhm. So to our casual fans, Saab is probably one of our best dressed cousins for sure, and definitely fashion that way. So I'm kind of curious, is that do you prefer suits or Shervanis?
Best. Okay, I know it's crunch time, but we're gonna do a little timeout. Okay, a section called timeout. Best dressed. Do you know what I'm wearing right now in this podcast? I'm wearing pajama pants, a bandana, and a hoodie. Okay,
Yeah,
like
because
best
we're two
dressed.
guys talking sports in a
I
podcast,
wear a
but
hoodie. I work from home. Hoodie is like my go-to. Okay, hoodie and sweatpants. And I
look,
appreciate
every
I
time we've been
appreciate the
at an event,
compliment.
I've never seen you not dressed well. Like you always look
Wow.
nice and polite that way. So
Oh, thank you, thank you. I feel very special. Okay, suit or sherwani, dude. Suits anytime, any day. I don't think I've ever even worn a sherwani one time in my life.
yeah, 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 you'll do the bunger outfit. That's what you got to do. It's either suit or bunger
Oh,
outfit,
so either
right?
suit or pangada outfit. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, uh, I still go with suit. It's more
you go
comfortable.
suit. Okay,
Yeah, it's more
fair enough.
comfortable.
What's cooler, performing in a bunger competition and winning it, or attending like a cool sporting event like Michigan State, Ohio State?
Winning a pangada competition.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
again, if you're now you're gonna say 2016 NBA Finals Game 7. Now we're talking about like the like Michigan National Championship. Now we're getting a little bit closer there. We're getting a little, and it depends on the competition, like if it's a big one or a small one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that
Big
also
game.
makes a difference. But yeah, I would say winning a bummer that competition. So
Do you have a favorite, real quick, favorite bunger competition that you won, or a moment with that?
favorite moment with that, I do.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite bummer that competition moment that I've ever had where we won was in 2022. Okay. We
Okay.
went to, and there's a small
That's
competition we went to. So we went to this competition. It's called Derby City Doom. Okay.
okay.
It's in Kentucky. Not a
Uh-huh.
big competition, not the best of the best teams. There are good teams there, but not the best of the best teams. Small
Yeah.
audience, nothing too crazy, right? But that was a special win because it was a group of guys that I've been coaching since like 2019, who I was coaching
Okay.
when they were like younger kids. They came
Yeah.
together and they won this competition together. And it was one of those ones where I was like a first time I was sole coaching on that one, or I was like coaching on that one. Like I wasn't dancing or doing anything like that. I was primarily coaching,
Huh.
and just working with those guys. It was a really good bonding moment, and we really all connected after that. So it's probably my favorite competition memory or winning moment that I've ever had at a competition.
That's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Moving on with that, then Diljit Dosanjh or Taylor Swift.
Obviously Taylor Swift, man. Shake It Off. Nothing's gonna beat that. You can play any
Oh
as
my
much goat
God.
as you want. Give me some Shake It Off. Give me some. That's the only Taylor Swift song I know. So, no, in all seriousness, it's Diljit, man. I mean, he's the goat.
Okay. I figured. I was like, wow. I mean, you really love your sister and going on that way. Ice cream or cold feet?
Ice cream.
All right. Very good. Statue of Liberty or Taj Mahal?
Statue of Liberty. I've never been to Taj Mahal,
Interesting.
but it is
Christmas or
beautiful.
Diwali?
Christmas or Diwali? Christmas.
All right. Let's say, what do you call it? 5 minutes from now, you get a knock on the door and LeBron James is sitting there and he's like, I'm hungry, man. Let's go for dinner. Where are we going to take him? Where are we going to feed him?
Blaze Pizza.
You're going to feed him his own food?
Hey, his franchises aren't doing that well. He needs the money, okay?
Wait, but Blaze Pizza is really good,
The
actually.
only Blaze Pizza that I know got shut down here. So if I'm taking a Blaze Pizza, because I'll be like, dude, you gotta
You're
do a
fixing
little
the
better. You gotta get some money in your company. If I'm taking LeBron James in one place, that's okay. He says crunch time, so I gotta answer fast. Uh we're gonna go to Gift of India because they got this
gift of India.
really good kati roll that I really like there.
Okay. Wow, where's Gift of India? Shout out to them.
It's this place in Farmington Hills, Michigan. They cater a
Okay.
lot of our academy events, but
Uh,
they just kati rolls are really really good.
nice.
Yeah,
Give him a boatload of coffee rolls.
yeah.
Cool. All right. Um, DDLJ or Titanic?
Titanic.
Titanic. Wow, how come Titanic?
I haven't seen DDLJ.
You've not seen DDLJ?
No.
Oh wow, we gotta have you see
I
that.
I really like Bollywood songs and music, but I've not watched a lot of the movies.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we gotta get you on that one. At least watch that one. That's a classic. All right. Last one. What's your favorite sports movie?
Oh, easy. Easy one. Longest Yard. By far. Longest Yard. That movie's so fun. It's either that or Happy Gilmore. One of the other. But I think Longest Yard takes it. That movie is so funny.
It is hilarious. And you're talking about the one with Adam Sandler,
The
right?
Adam
Burt
Sandler one.
Reynolds,
And
right? And
yeah.
Chris Rock is in it. You had a lot of. I mean, that one's a hilarious one because one at that time it was a peak of my WWE fandom. People don't know that one. So there's like a lot of WWE stars in there, and like they were
Yeah,
all the bad guys.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's in there.
Stone Cold Steve Austin,
Oh,
Kevin Nash was
yeah.
in it.
He's so funny in that
So he is
movie
hilarious. He is hilarious.
because they
Like,
keep giving him the estrogen pills. It's so funny.
That's hilarious. And he worked well. And then Goldberg was in there on the other side. And then you had Nelly was in that. Uh
Terry
you
Crews.
had Michael Irvin. That was pretty fun that
Terry
way.
Crews was in there too.
Terry Crews was in it. That's right.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Forgot
too.
that.
Terry Crews.
Yeah.
It was like star-studded. It
It
was a
was very
star-studded
star-studded.
cast, and it was a really funny movie. Really funny
It
movie.
was.
It's like any Adam Sandler sports movies. That Waterboy,
Yes,
hilarious.
Waterboy.
Happy Gilmore, like I mentioned.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore was what put me on Adam Sandler. Right,
Yeah.
I watched it randomly, and I was like, "This is so funny." When I was a
It's
kid, and
it's
I just loved it.
classic. It's a classic. I mean, it's like a totally different like no how can anybody forget? Get in that hole. That's your home.
The fight with Bob Barker, dude, like random stuff. Like
Uh,
okay, from Waterboy, Farmer Fran, like those are my favorite scenes.
oh
Like
man.
those are ones like you can't understand what the guy's saying. You're like,
You know. Yep. And then of course, Rob Schneider with his little cameos and
you
things where
can
he's just
do
like,
it.
you can do
Yeah,
it.
you can do it.
You can do it. Those were really good. Those are great movies of his. He knew how to do sports well.
Oh yeah,
Uh Sub, bro, this was amazing as always. Love it.
yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me. I loved it.
Thanks for having me, Smith. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
You take it
Keep
easy.
it up,
And to our
man. Love
teammates
this.
out there, huh? Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, no, keep. I said keep doing it. I loved it. I love hearing it.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
We're gonna have so much more fun. We're gonna have you on and like we talked, we're hinting on a lot of fun ideas that's gonna involve like a lot of us. It's gonna be so cool. So,
Hmm.
uh, so teammates, just want to say that's another game done. Thank you so much for listening to us. Good game, good sportsmanship, and lots of love as always. Have a good one. Bye.